Good morning, welcome to another beautiful sunny day outside, but I'm back inside in the workshop at home. In previous videos I mentioned about doing the charged cooler conversion on Bumblebee, and during this current coronavirus lockdown I've been accumulating parts like everybody else. Some of the parts I've been waiting for are the parts that I need to finish disassembling the gearbox that's going under Bumblebee. Until they arrive, and they are overdue already, then I can't crack on with that like I intended to. So what I've done this morning, it's what is it, Easter Monday, so it's a bank holiday here in the UK, but not that it makes a lot of difference because everybody's on lockdown, but that's by the by. So what I've done this morning is I've sketched out the parts that I need and the parts I'm using on the charge cooler conversion when I get around to taking the engine out of Bumblebee. And I just thought I'd run you through what I've got and what I'm using. There is some parts that have arrived and they're nothing like what I ordered. Obviously on eBay it was just a generic photograph that didn't represent what I was actually getting, so I'll stick those up somewhere as a add-on somewhere during this little bit of talkie. Okie dokie. Right, so what we've got here is my John diagram, which is an old school joke, of what I plan to do for the charge cooler conversion. So starting from the top, we've got a reservoir to hold the water. It's alloy res. It needs a bit of adaptation, hence I need to weld on or get somebody to weld on some alloy bungs, I suppose you call them, adapters. Onto those adapters go 90-degree M10 connections, which is like a 16mm pipe, and work from this side. It goes down here through another 90-degree connector, which is just what I've got for the moment because I don't really know what exactly I'm going to need, and then another weld on adapter to a radiator or a heat exchanger of some sort. The first one, as I've said, the first one I bought is absolutely no good because it's nothing like the picture. It's supposed to be all made of alloy and half it's plastic, and it's totally unsuitable for what I want, so I'm going to have to find something else. Possibly what I've seen is some of these radiators that they use in cooling systems for overclocking PCs. They're roughly about the right size. It needs to be about 240mm long and maybe 160 high. So if I can find out how high the ones that are used for the PCs are, and they're made out of alloy, they might work, and they're not too thick either. So working from the bottom of there, comes out with there again, another adapter, another 90-degree for the moment, and then in there into the bottom of my water pump. You want your water pump on the cool side of the system so it's not, suffering from hot water going into it the whole time. And it also needs to be quite low so it has a constant head of water into this bottom part of it. This is a brushless pump, so it doesn't have, as you can tell by the name, it doesn't have the bushes that normally wear out in electric motors. It's magnetic or something like that. It's supposed to last a lot better. Output from the water pump goes along and into our barrel intercooler, again through a 90-degree connector, because I think it has to sit so that the connectors are pointing upwards, but I'll show you that in a minute. And you want the coldest side of the water coming in, probably the other side to what I've got it shown. I think there's a certain way you should have it round. I think I've got it drawn the wrong way on here, but I'll confirm that when I do the proper thing. The other side of the intercooler is water going back out. Obviously it's getting pushed through the intercooler and then back out into the reservoir. Descriptions I read online say that your inlet and outlet need to be in the bottom of your reservoir so that you don't suffer from bubbles being kept in the water or formed in the water as the water's splashing in from the top, and this way it helps keep the system properly bled. So what I'll do is I'll fire the proper parts onto here so you can see what it looks like. Ta-da! So here we got our parts roughly laid out on the whiteboard. 16mm internal diameter pipe, my reservoir, the 90 degrees with the alloy weld-on adapters, which are going to go in the bottom of there, like that. Then we have the barrel style intercooler. I've altered the schematic so it's showing the water going in the right way around now. Then we have the brushless water pump connectors there that go to the rad. I mean, it might be that they're on top of the radiator sitting like that. It all depends, and I can always change those as well to a different design if needs to be. But that's the basic layout of the charge cooling system. And obviously I've got to try and find room for all that lot. There will be some more adapters and alterations on the silicone hosing that normally comes along from the supercharger and then twists up into the inlet manifold on the 8 port, because obviously it's got to be redirected through that. And I'll also have to try and find some way of mounting that, whether I have some tabs put onto it or it's held in some sort of bracket to stop it from moving about, remains to be seen. But that's all the parts anyway, or most of them, apart from that rad that was totally wrong. So that's the parts for the charge cooling system. So what I'm going to do the rest of today is tidy up in here a bit. Has anybody seen the background in pictures, videos in here before? It's an absolute tip. But it's because I've got so much stuff lying about, waiting to get fitted to cars at the moment. And because of the coronavirus lockdown, I know that a lot of the mini YouTubers and a lot of people I know, you see them on Facebook, they're at home with nothing to do. And once you've redecorated the house 3 times, you're bored, so you start working on your mini. But fortunately, I suppose I'm still at work full time, although it is slightly more complicated and difficult than normal. So I don't have the extra time that everybody else seems to have to be working on their projects. So until the lockdown is finished, I can't really start working on the cars because they're not here at home anymore. And I know that I could go to the workshop and work on the cars, and we're strictly within the law of the lockdown, in that we're not being in contact with anybody else, but we are like outside the spirit of the lockdown by, not staying at home, even though it is just a short trip across town. It's not stopping at home. We are going out and about, even though we would not see anybody. So it's debatable how long this lockdown is going to last and how much longer I can keep that up. Because as I've said, it would be no harm to anybody for me to go from here to the workshop. And there's ways around it. You could just go there, dump all your tools, which I don't normally do, and then just walk across and use that as your daily exercise, and then stop there all day and do the work on the car. But I might as well just take my car and take my tools and bring them home again each day, which is what I prefer to do. But we'll see. But I've got plenty to tidy up in here. The problem is, as I said, there's a lot of boxes full of parts waiting to be used up, and it's clogging up the space. What I might do is work on that turbo engine that long-time viewers will remember. I've got the piston rings. They came in a previous order with all these gearbox parts that are underneath the camera. So I could do that and put that in there, get them out of the way from sitting in space. But I don't think I have any bearings at the right size. I need to check the size of the big end bearings and all that, and before I can finish bottling that one up. I've got the head gasket head is stripped now but needs painting, so I've got a lot of little projects I could be tinkering away on, but I'd really prefer to be finishing off Austin, going for its first test drive after repairing the gearbox, and starting to strip everything out on Bumblebee. I've been in touch with somebody who's a bit more knowledgeable about supercharged and boosted cams and things than I am, and I've got a few opinions off various other people, and the outcome of it is I did think about doing a custom cam for the 8-pot purely to suit the supercharged conversion, but I'm just going to try the very, very base model road cam, which is the tamest 8-pot cam available, because it's 50% more suitable to a boosted application than the one I've got, although it's not 100% what I'm aiming for, but it'll do for the moment, I think, although it is the cost of another cam and another set of cam followers and a few gaskets. It's not the end of the world, and seeing as I'm going to take the engine apart anyway, it's I might as well do it while I'm in there if I'm thinking about doing it, and hopefully I'll not lose a massive amount of power, and with using this water cooling setup here, this inlet cooling system, power should be pretty much unaffected. It certainly should be a lot nicer to drive. That's the thing I'm going for. So yeah, so that's it. Just more tinkering this afternoon. Whether I do any more filming or not, I don't know. And I don't know what the next bit of footage will be. Hopefully the next bit of footage will be me disassembling the gearbox fully and getting the pinion nut off. But the problem is that I'm waiting for parts. I'm waiting for a big, long, massive breaker bar so I can get that apart, because at the moment everything we've tried, I can't touch it. But I have finished pretty much painting up all the other bits of gearbox and stuff ready to go back in and reassemble Johnny 5, but until that arrives, all that lot is sitting on the back burner like everything else. So, to conclude, tinkering, sunny day, I'm inside, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.